Noah Carter couldn't remember when it started. Maybe he was 7, maybe he was 8. At some point, he had discovered that if he pulled his fingers a certain way, they made a strange sound. Crack. The first time he heard it, he laughed. The second time, he did it again. And before long, it became a habit. A habit so normal that he barely noticed it anymore. Every morning before school, crack. While playing video games, crack. During homework, crack. Even while watching television, crack. The sound followed him everywhere. To Noah, it meant nothing. Just a harmless little noise. But to everyone around him, it was impossible to ignore. Friends complained about it, teachers noticed it, his mother rolled her eyes every time she heard it. And his grandfather? His grandfather absolutely hated it. The moment he heard that familiar sound, he always reacted the same way. A serious look, a disappointed shake of the head, and a warning Noah had heard for years. A warning that would soon turn an ordinary habit into an extraordinary mystery. For as long as Noah could remember, the warning had always been there. Every family seemed to have one version of it. Some people said it would ruin your hands. Others said it would weaken your fingers. But Noah's grandfather always used the same word. Arthritis. The word sounded serious, dangerous, permanent. Whenever Noah cracked his knuckles, his grandfather would point at his hands and say, "Keep doing that and you'll end up with arthritis." At first, Noah ignored it. After all, adults warned children about lots of things. Don't sit too close to the television. Don't swallow gum. Don't make funny faces or they'll get stuck that way. But this warning felt different. Because unlike those other warnings, people genuinely seemed convinced. His grandfather believed it. His mother believed it. Even some of his teachers believed it. And the strange part? Nobody ever explained why. The warning always came with certainty, but never with evidence. Still, Noah never gave it much thought. Until one afternoon, something happened that made him wonder if they had been right all along. For as long as Noah could remember, people had treated the warning like a proven fact. Parents repeated it, teachers repeated it, grandparents repeated it, even strangers seemed willing to repeat it. But when Noah finally decided to investigate, he discovered something strange. Nobody seemed to know where the warning actually came from. There was no famous doctor who started it. No groundbreaking medical study that terrified parents. No historical moment when scientists announced, "Knuckle cracking causes arthritis." Instead, the warning seemed to have appeared gradually, passed from one generation to the next. Like an old family story. The farther Noah looked into the past, the more confusing things became. Long before modern medicine understood joints. Long before MRI scans. Long before doctors could look inside the human body in detail. People often relied on observation. They watched, they guessed, and they tried to make sense of what they saw. Over time, many people noticed something. Older adults with arthritis often had swollen fingers. Their joints looked enlarged. Some struggled to grip objects. Others complained about stiffness and pain. Meanwhile, children and teenagers were constantly cracking their knuckles. The sound seemed unnatural, loud, almost violent. To many people, the conclusion seemed obvious. If cracking made such a dramatic sound, surely it couldn't be good for the joints. And if arthritis affected the fingers and hands, then perhaps years of cracking must somehow be responsible. The idea felt logical. It felt reasonable. Most importantly, it felt true. And so the warning spread. Parents taught it to their children. Those children grew up and taught it to theirs. Generation after generation, the belief became so common that very few people stopped to question it. After all, when everyone believes something, it starts to feel like a fact. But beliefs are not always built on evidence. Sometimes they're built on assumptions. And Noah was about to discover the difference. For most of his life, Noah had ignored the warning. But now something felt different. The more he researched, the more he noticed things he had never paid attention to before. One afternoon, while shopping with his mother, Noah noticed an elderly man struggling to pick up a carton of milk. The man's fingers looked swollen. His movements seemed stiff and uncomfortable. He carefully adjusted his grip before lifting the carton with both hands. Most people walked past without noticing. But Noah couldn't stop staring. His eyes immediately dropped to the man's hands. The fingers looked larger than normal. The joints appeared thick and swollen. Almost exactly how people described arthritis. Suddenly, Noah remembered every warning he had ever heard, every comment from his grandfather, every lecture from adults, every time someone had told him, "Keep cracking your knuckles and this is what will happen." For the first time in years, the warning no longer sounded silly. It sounded possible. That evening, Noah couldn't stop thinking about the man in the grocery store. The image stayed in his mind. Again and again, when he got home, he looked down at his own hands. Slowly, he stretched his fingers. Crack. The familiar sound echoed through the room. But this time it didn't feel satisfying. It felt unsettling. He stared at his knuckles. Had they always looked like that? Were they bigger than before? Was he imagining it, or was something actually changing? The more he looked, the more uncertain he became. Over the next few days, Noah found himself paying attention to every little sensation in his hands. A slight ache after basketball practice. A little stiffness in the morning. A finger that felt tired after writing for too long. Things he would normally ignore suddenly seemed important. Each small sensation raised a new question. What if these were early signs? What if the adults had been right all along? What if every crack was slowly damaging his joints? The fear grew quietly, not because Noah had evidence, but because uncertainty has a way of filling empty spaces. And right now, Noah had more questions than answers. The mystery was becoming harder to ignore. The next afternoon, Noah sat down at his desk with a simple goal. He wanted an answer, not opinions, not family stories, not warnings, an actual answer. He opened his laptop and typed, "Does cracking your knuckles cause arthritis?" Within seconds, hundreds of results appeared. Articles, videos, medical websites, research papers, and almost immediately, Noah noticed a problem. The internet couldn't seem to agree. Some people insisted the warning was true. Others claimed it was completely false. The deeper he searched, the more confusing things became. Everyone had an opinion, but Noah wasn't looking for opinions anymore. He wanted evidence. Eventually, he found something different. Not a rumor, not a personal story, a scientific explanation. And it started with a question Noah had never asked before. What actually causes the cracking sound? For years, Noah had imagined bones snapping against each other. It certainly sounded that way. Crack. The noise seemed harsh, almost violent, but doctors explained something surprising. The sound wasn't bones breaking. It wasn't joints being damaged. And it wasn't pieces of cartilage grinding together. Inside every healthy joint is a slippery liquid called synovial fluid. This fluid helps joints move smoothly. Hidden inside that fluid are tiny dissolved gases. When a finger is stretched or pulled, pressure inside the joint changes. Small gas bubbles suddenly form. And when those bubbles collapse or shift rapidly, a cracking sound can occur. Crack. Noah leaned back in his chair. The sound he'd heard thousands of times suddenly seemed much less frightening. But one important question remained. Just because the sound wasn't bones breaking, did that mean the habit was harmless? That answer led Noah to one of the most unusual scientific investigations he had ever encountered. Years ago, one determined doctor became tired of hearing the same warning. He wanted proof, so he conducted a very unusual experiment. For decades, he cracked the knuckles on only one hand. His other hand remained untouched. Year after year, decade after decade, one hand cracked, one hand left alone. When researchers eventually compared both hands, the results were shocking. There was no meaningful difference in arthritis between them. Noah stared at the screen. The experiment sounded almost unbelievable. But it wasn't the only study. Researchers had examined groups of people who cracked their knuckles regularly. Others rarely cracked them at all. Again and again, scientists struggled to find convincing evidence that knuckle cracking caused arthritis. The warning Noah had heard his entire life was beginning to look very different. For the first time, the mystery seemed to be turning in an unexpected direction. The more Noah read, the clearer the picture became. For decades, scientists had searched for evidence that cracking your knuckles caused arthritis. And despite all the warnings, despite all the confidence, despite generations of people repeating the claim, the evidence simply wasn't there. Study after study failed to show a convincing connection. Noah sat quietly, staring at the screen. The answer felt strange, not because it was complicated, but because it challenged something he had heard his entire life. The warning wasn't supported by strong scientific evidence, yet millions of people still believed it. Why? The answer, Noah realized, was surprisingly human. People weren't trying to spread misinformation. Parents weren't trying to scare children. Grandparents weren't trying to tell lies. Most of them genuinely believed they were helping. They saw swollen arthritic hands. They heard loud cracking noises. And they connected the two. The conclusion felt reasonable, even if it wasn't supported by evidence. For generations, the warning survived because it sounded true. And sometimes, ideas that sound true can last much longer than the facts. That evening, Noah visited his grandfather again. The old man sat in his favorite chair watching television. Noah smiled. He already knew what was about to happen. Slowly, he stretched his fingers. Crack. His grandfather immediately looked up. There it was. The famous sound. The sound that had started the entire mystery. Grandfather Carter shook his head. Noah laughed. Grandpa, I've been researching. His grandfather raised an eyebrow. Oh really? Noah nodded. I learned something interesting. The old man folded his arms. I'm listening. Noah explained what doctors had discovered. He explained the studies, the gas bubbles, the scientific investigations, the years of research. When he finished, his grandfather sat quietly for a moment. Then he smiled. You know, he said, when I was your age, my grandfather told me the exact same thing. Noah blinked. The exact same warning? His grandfather nodded. The exact same warning. For a moment, both of them laughed. Suddenly the mystery made sense. The warning hadn't survived because people were careless. It survived because people trusted those who came before them. And sometimes, traditions continue long after the evidence changes. As Noah left that evening, he looked down at his hands one more time. The same hands, the same fingers, the same familiar sound, crack, but now it meant something different. Not fear, not danger, not uncertainty, just another mystery solved, and perhaps a reminder that in medicine, the truth is often more interesting than the myth. Every generation passes down stories. Some are true, some are misunderstood, and some become mysteries waiting to be solved. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Medical Mysteries and join us as we uncover the truth behind the world's most fascinating medical myths. Have you ever been told that cracking your knuckles causes arthritis? Tell us in the comments. And we'll see you in the next mystery.